Shut that
Okay?
fat loser. You sound like a fucking
fucking
retard. You sound
Dawkins is fucking...
autistic. You sound
Okay,
autistic, Hubert, and you
someone
dated fucking...
server mute Calamity. This guy's being a fucking over-talking ass.
There you go. Problem solved, man.
Cockboot.
Darth, Your Highness, welcome aboard. I will
Hey, Darth
ensure that you have a
Dawkins,
safe
sorry about
space to
Calamity.
conduct yourself here.
It's
So-
not
sorry.
necessary. It's not necessary to refer to me as Highness. I prefer Your
No,
Honor.
he's being condescending. It's pathetic.
No,
I'm sorry
I
about
prefer Your Honor.
Okay, Your Honor, Princess. My
that.
love.
Can I call you my nigga?
Look, you know what? Being that I'm old enough to be your people's father or grandfather, I'm very much accustomed to, punks on
15 years
Discord
old.
trash talking.
I'm 15 years old.
It doesn't impress me.
I'm gonna slide in your DMs.
What's up, nigga? Yeah, I'm 15 years old and I have fucking 56-inch vertical. The Darth Dawkins. Can I ask
give somebody an anonymous microphone with a teenage mind, and they just have a potty mouth.
No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. I was just trying to troll you. But Darth, can I ask you? Do you believe in dinosaurs?
Can you be more specific?
So, do you think like dinosaurs existed? Because like for me, looking at like dinosaurs, like T-Rexes, theoretically they couldn't breed. You know those like it's like a Tyrannosaurus or whatever.
Honestly,
those
Hubert,
super
go fucking
long-necked
kill yourself, man.
dinosaurs
You're a
that were, like,
fucking moron.
supposedly used to
You
hit-
sound like a
hit
fucking
other
queer,
people
like a
with
total
their long
fucking
neck.
queer.
Yeah,
And you can't date
dudes, I'll be
anybody
glad to
besides
stay.
royal.
If
There's a guy
there's
over
not going to be any
Go kill yourself.
moderation, I'm going to leave.
Go kill yourself already.
Hey, Darth Dawkins, how's it going, man?
If there's
Sorry.
not going to be any moderation, I'll leave. I have other
Yeah,
rooms
that's
I
what
can
I'm
go to.
saying. Calamity.
Darth,
the
honestly,
Calamity Gaming.
Yeah,
is
I
being-
would do
your
it, but,
fucking, your
you know.
fucking saggy grandpa mouth on my fucking.
Okay,
Wow.
listen, last warning. If there's a mod in here, if you don't moderate, this stupidity, I'll just leave. I'll go elsewhere.
I've been talking to you.
I'm not offended. I'm not
Yeah.
offended because I'm not offended by little mental midget 15-year-olds on Discord trash talking.
I was lying about being 15. That was a joke.
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to everybody in the room.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
No,
No,
Darth,
but the
I
other
have
guy-
many
you
other
an
rooms that are interested in having me there. Okay.
Yeah. No, so what I was asking you is if you believed in dinosaurs, because like in theory, T-Rexes
Just let him
couldn't
answer,
rebreed.
dude. Ask the question and
T-Rexes
let him
couldn't
answer.
rebreed. Tyrannosauruses were theoretically so heavy and long-necked that they couldn't even walk properly. And like the only existing form of dinosaurs today are quote-unquote birds and like
Alligators.
chickens and shit like that.
Well, the problem with the ideas about dinosaurs is most people can't tell the difference between what is sense datum and evolutionary conjecture. Okay. So
Good
as a Bible believing Christian holding to a biblical worldview and young earth creationism, do I believe there were dinosaurs? Yeah, of course. There were many creatures more than dinosaurs that went extinct in biblical history, right? Dinosaurs don't pose a problem to a biblical model of reality.
You ever been to New York?
Yo, Darth Dawkins.
I'm listening.
Oh my god.
Darth Dawkins.
Are we gonna have
How do you
another
feel about
cringe
giant
debate on?
bones hold on.
Giants and shit.
Sorry, other people are interrupting. So, just curious. You.
How do you
are
account for truth in your
obviously a
worldview?
Hold on. You're obviously a Christian, right? You believe that your knowledge comes from God. It's delivered from God, correct?
Everything does.
Right. Okay. So I'm just curious, how you have access to God, to be enlightened by Him, and how you trust that access.
That the question is very ambiguous. You're gonna have to be more specific.
Mm-hmm. My apologies. I'll try to reword it. So what I'm trying to get down to specifically is you have, access to God's revelations, like through your perception or through your senses, presumably. I'm asking, how do you trust
Well,
those
even
things in
your
the first
senses are
place?
revelatory of God. Were you aware of that? In a biblical framework, everything, I'm trying to explain it to you, okay? In a biblical
Mhm.
model of reality, even the littlest of sense datum, okay? Like, for example, if you eat a spicy potato chip, that is a revelation of God. Looking at the moon, anything that God creates, that he purposes to come into contact with our self-consciousness. Excuse, hold on a second. Excuse me. People don't understand the scope of biblical revelation. So anything that God creates, that he purposes to come into contact with us, is revelation of God. Now, so there's natural revelation, and then there's special revelation, where within special revelation, God gives us certain information that he didn't otherwise provide to us through natural revelation. So just looking at the moon on a cloud-free night or contemplating your own self-consciousness is a revelation of God within a biblical model of reality.
Right. So I understand that the biblical model of reality says that even our senses are revelations of God, but that's kind of specifically what I take issue with. It seems as if we get into a kind of a circular cycle there, where the
A
revelation. Sorry,
circular cycle?
my apologies. Like a sorry, I'm just saying it's viciously circular, right?
Okay. All right. Listen, you don't.
Where
I'm going to give you a warning. Okay. Now,
sure.
you don't want to go in this direction. Okay. Because you're going to get intellectually body slammed. Okay. Do you want to do
Well,
that? Do you want to be embarrassed in front of all your other friends now?
Yo, Darth, how about you
well,
take me on,
if
man?
going in this, hold on.
I warned
If you
you.
can
I'm
prove, if you can,
warning you.
I would.
Are you making the charge of circularity?
Yes,
Yeah, your reasoning is circular,
Okay.
Darth. Get over
Do
it.
you want to stand on that?
absolutely. And if I'm wrong,
Okay.
I'll admit it.
Okay, good. You're about to get body slammed. Okay.
Mhm.
So here's the problem. Okay.
Ah,
We have two models of reality. One, which we can call the God world, and the other, the not God world. Within the God world, we could characterize the God world as the supremacy of the divine mind and reason and how he reveals it. Okay. The other model, which is the not God world, can be characterized as the supremacy of human reason. So if you say that God, acting in creation and through his revelatory actions, reveals himself in a self-attesting and self-authenticating way, and you charge that with circularity, that it would be fallacious. Is that what you're saying? Because I want to make sure that you're clear as to what you're deciding to chew on,
Right.
because it's going to end up choking you to death, metaphysically speaking. So are you
Okay.
charging that an appeal to God's revelatory actions that are self-attesting and self-authenticating, are you charging that approach as being fallacious because it's circular?
oh yeah, that's definitely circular.
When I hold on.
All I
So
need
I
is
don't
a
think it's
yes or a no. You can
Yes,
elaborate
The
further
answer
on.
it's
is
circular, obviously.
the answer. The
No,
answer
listen,
is no.
listen, everybody. I talk with one person at a time.
One at a time.
No, you're running away because you're scared of me, Darth. I know that.
Okay. All right.
You know that.
Listen. Last
Enlight-
warning. If you
Enlightenment, stop
okay,
talking.
if you don't mute Calamity right now, I will leave.
He's running
No,
away. He's
you're having a talk
Okay,
with
thank you,
Calamity, I
thank
think.
you.
Short
Okay.
answer.
Bottles.
No. Short answer. No, it's not fallacious.
Okay.
By
So
something's
there's not a
problematic.
problem. So for example, in a world where God is, the only way to know that God is and that he is the ultimate reference point is for God to take the initiative to reveal himself in a self-attesting way. Now, the reason why circularity in general is a problem is because all things that are not God are contingent or have to be contextualized. Okay? So God does his own self-contextualization and his own authentication, whereas other things that are not God, because they're derivative and dependent, they require an external authorization or authentication. Now, if you object to God revealing himself by virtue of a self-attesting, self-authenticating revelation, Either you're going to accept that or you're going to reject it. If you reject it on the grounds of circularity, then I'm going to drop a 2-ton block of steel on you. Okay. The moment you say that that's fallacious. So do you want to do that?
No, I don't think it's fallacious. I think it's okay,
Okay.
for us to have foundational
Then why did you
beliefs,
bring up
even
the
if
issue of
they...
circularity?
Sure, I'll explain. Because I think that in that instance, theists like you are no different from
Enlighten,
atheists
you're so
who
dumb, man. God
Yeah,
fucking.
you
Hold on.
don't know what.
Have to see this.
Listen, I don't
Sorry,
mean it.
calamity.god.
I don't need any disrespect to you, but you simply don't know what you're talking about. I know
I would
you
ask
think
you...
you do. You don't.
Benny, why do I have to be quiet
No,
when
I
this guy's
don't.
around, man?
Mr.
Like,
Excuse
listen
me.
to him. He's so retarded, and it's like Darth
Hold on.
Dawkins, man. This should be easy.
Hold on, I
Easy.
apologize.
Okay,
but
last
I
warning. If
apologize,
Calamity doesn't stay muted, I'm leaving. If you unmute him, I'm leaving.
Okay. Darth,
To be fair,
I
that
don't
was the
think
last
that
warning 3 warnings ago.
Well, okay, Darth, I would ask of you then if I could go ahead and explain my reasoning so that you could tell me where I'm wrong. Just so what?
I'm listening.
Okay, so the reasoning is that I think that the circularity aspect of it is true of atheists and theists. That atheists circularly believe that their senses are accurate, and theists
you're not.
circularly believe
Okay,
that God
okay. Listen. I'm going to stop you right now. Okay, listen.
Okay.
I'm really trying to inform you, and I'm not trying to talk down to you or insult you, but you simply don't know what you're talking about. Okay, there is no self-authentication within the not God world. Okay, there is no. It doesn't exist. You can't ground it.
I think therefore I am. I think is a self-authenticating argument.
All right. I'm going to ask you a question, which I ask all the time for my own benefit. How old are you?
I just turned 20.
Okay. Yeah, you sound a lot younger than that. Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
The fact that you gave that answer further confirms to me you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Descartes' dictum, okay, is not contextualized. Therefore, it doesn't mean anything.
When you say it's not contextualized, what?
Yeah,
what do you mean by
everything
that?
needs to be contextualized unless, like God is his own self-contained contextualization because he is aseity. He possesses aseity. He's unconditionally non-derivative, non-dependent. Nothing extraneous to God contextualizes himself. Now, when you invoke Descartes' dictum, okay, you're invoking it as a proposition, and that it is some statement of actuality with intelligibility. When you talk about I think, therefore I am, what contextualizes the I am?
I don't. Okay, just so you understand where I'm coming from, I think that the existence element of it, right? I think, therefore I exist.
Are you okay? Listen to me. Do you think I was born yesterday? I'm 3 times
You won't
your
even let him
age.
finish,
Listen,
dude. I'm
I'm stopping him here because I know immediately when somebody starts responding to me whether they're really addressing my point or my question or they're just verbalizing. Okay, I want you to answer the very simple question. Okay, the I am in I think, therefore I am. What contextualizes the I am?
Existence precedes all context, so nothing needs to.
Sir, listen to me. Stop with the bullshit. Okay. Now I'm getting irritated because you know, and I know what you just said is complete bullshit. It's rhetoric. Now I'll ask you one more time. I want you to explain to me ontologically, instead of referring to an abstraction like the word existence, what concretely contextualizes the I am?
It's just going to be the same answer.
That's a non-answer. So the answer is nothing contextualizes the I am. Therefore, you have an uncontextualized proposition, which makes it meaningless and uninterpretable.
But why isn't that true of God as well? You said he's
because God self-contextualizes.
So is existence. That's
No,
the
okay.
I am.
All right. Listen. You're 20 years old. You're talking to somebody who's 3 times your age. I know a little bit more about these issues than you do. Okay. Existence is not a predicate. Do you understand that? Existence
Okay.
is not an
Yeah.
attribute or a property.
God.
Okay. So stop with the references to quote unquote existence. It's not an attribute.
What is God
Now,
an attribute of?
what is what?
What is God an attribute of then?
God is not what? You're 20 years old?
You're
Are
rejecting
you
what I said
serious? Are
because
you serious?
existence
No,
is
I'm
not an
serious.
attribute.
Are you a 16-year-old pretending to be a 20-year-old? I mean, you're
I
seriously
turned
asking
20
that
on.
question? That is a profoundly
Yeah.
dumb question.
You rejected what I said because existence
Yeah,
is
I'm
not a
not
predicate. Well,
listen, I'm not
is
doing
God a
that.
predicate?
Listen to me. Obviously, I know a lot more about this subject than you do. You are pretending like somebody at the cafeteria table. You know how people used to bicker about things at the cafeteria table in 9th and 10th grade, like they know what they're talking about, even though they know they don't know what they're talking about, but they put on a big show. You're not going to fool a man who's 3 times your age, who studied more than you do. You're not saying anything of substance. Now, if you say something that I disagree with, okay, I'm not going to automatically shoot from the hip and say, well, that's not substantive. But I will tell you right away, if you're not saying something substantive, it's just empty rhetoric, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to say, that's not substantive. Okay? You don't know what you're talking about on these issues. Now, if you want to disagree with me on certain things, that's fine. But you're going to have to disagree substantively, not rhetorically. Because any idiot can do that.
I feel like you've been giving rhetoric for the past minute.
Okay,
then.
have a nice day. You're an effing idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. You're trolling me now. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm going to put a note in your account right now to never
Right.
talk with you again.
I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy. That's all.
Sir, listen to me. Okay, you're not getting this, okay? I'm old enough to be your grandfather, okay? I'm not stupid. Okay, I've been on.
Do you treat your
I've
grandchildren like
okay.
this?
Okay, listen to me. All right, good. Now I will.
Okay.
We're done. We're done. You're trolling now. Okay.
No, you're just a hypocrite. I don't know what to say.
All right. I'm gonna turn your microphone
I've
down.
never met this guy in a day of my life personally. I don't know where he came from. I think
All
he
right,
came
hold
from
on.
the cracks of
Turn.
fucking Troll Kingdom.
Okay, he's turned down. I will never talk with him again because now he's trolling. Look, I don't mind if people vigorously disagree with me in a debate, but once they make it abundantly clear to me that they're trolling me, okay, because they want to get their jollies off either by themselves or people listening, I'm done with you. Guess it, you just blew it. You're going to have to hope that you get another account and I don't recognize your voice because I won't be talking to you ever again on this account. The issue is not that you're disagreeing with me. You continue to bullshit and to troll when I told you to stop, and you continue doing it. So you blew this for yourself. And by the way, if you're talking right now, I cannot hear you. I have you turned down. Okay. So I will not be talking to you ever again.
Right. Yeah, I don't know why he was a hypocrite and just gave me rhetoric for 2 minutes after accusing me of the same thing. But, oh well.
Darth Dawkins, this Aguero guy is a Muslim if you want to debate religion.
Sometimes I'm not in the mood to talk with Muslims because every single time they're idiot teenagers and they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
He's a grown man.
Yeah. Well, it usually ends the same way.
I think he's only half your age, not 1/3 your age. So I don't know if you respect him a little more, but
What's the username?
it's the Aguero hashtag Team Louis.
Okay, Aguero, is God perfect?
Of course.
Okay. Now, if Muhammad was simply bastardizing Christianity, right? And he was speaking out of ignorance and just talking extemporaneously about things that he heard of, trying to imitate the biblical writers, right? Given that we've had 1,400 years of development of philosophy and theology, okay, it should be easy to find out through a very careful analysis whether he was just bullshitting or not, because he was unsophisticated in terms of theology and philosophy. So here goes, okay? Do you believe God is the greatest conceivable being?
Yes.
Okay, I agree with you. It's called perfect being theology. Okay, God is the greatest conceivable being, who possesses all great making properties and has them to their fullest. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, that means that he has to have whatever qualities he has,
Great.
he doesn't have them halfway. He doesn't have them 3/4 of the way. He will possess them to their fullest. Okay? Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to drop a nuclear bomb on you that's going to destroy Islam. But even
What the
after I
fuck?
drop it, like the Japanese in World War II, you're still not going to surrender because you don't want to believe that all your fellow Muslims alive today and any ancestors in the past could be wrong. This is a phenomenon of cult thinking. So here's how I'm going to show you Muhammad was making this up. Okay? If God is the greatest conceivable being, and he has all great making properties, and he has them to their fullest and without deficit. Love is a great making property, correct?
Hmm?
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, speak up. I can't hear you.
Love is limited to humans. It's a human attribute.
Oh, okay. So Allah doesn't possess the quality of love?
Of course he does.
Okay,
But
does he
not in the
possess?
same way
Does he
to
possess?
humans.
Okay, listen carefully.
Oh,
Listen to me. I'm very familiar with the concept of Tawheed. Okay.
yeah.
Now, human beings are made in the image of God. We are made to be like God, in that God is a persona, and he's not like an inanimate object like a rock. Okay. Now, does God possess the character quality of love, and does he possess it to its maximum and fullest? Think very carefully before you answer.
Well, I would have to say he has it, but not in the same way humans feel it. And
No, sir, I didn't ask you in comparison to humans. I asked you a question. Does he possess the quality of love and to its fullest?
yeah,
Okay.
in ways
Now,
that we
now,
cannot understand as
I want
humans.
to, sir, listen to me. That this is all besides the point. This is just verbal meandering right now. Now, see, I
All
can
right.
tell you're getting a little bit antsy here because you don't know what's coming. Okay, but I do. Now, to possess the quality of love means to actualize it. Okay, if you don't actualize love, then you don't possess that quality to its fullest. Are we clear?
How do you actualize it?
Actualizing means it's put into action. It's not just a potentiality.
All right.
Okay. So to possess the quality of love means to actualize. It's actualized. It's not just a mere potentiality. Now, I'm going to ask you a very simple question. If I spent the entirety of my life as a personal being, okay, one that has a mind and intellect or whatever, and all I did was love myself, could I possess and actualize love to its fullest?
What? Can
Simple
you repeat that?
question. If I spent my whole life simply just loving myself and not uh, uh, actualizing being other oriented, right? Could I possess love, the quality of love, and to its fullest?
No.
No. Okay. Did everybody hear that? Everybody hear what he said? So I could not possess love that is actualized if all I did was just love myself, but I wasn't being other oriented. Okay. So if I help somebody in need or I serve somebody else, okay, whatever it may be, I risk my life, it doesn't matter. The thing that exemplifies love to its fullest is in the nature of being other oriented. Do you accept that?
Wait, what?
I think I made myself very clear. Is love to its fullest is where it's actualized in terms of other orientedness.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, whom did Allah love before he created?
Before he created everything in
Okay,
existence.
listen carefully. Focus. Whom did Allah love before he created? You see, this is the mistake Muhammad made. Muhammad was bullshitting. He was making this stuff as he goes along, and he's duped generations of Arabs and non-Arabs that he was a prophet of God. But he didn't have the refinement in terms of theology and philosophy of 2,000 years, where people can carefully think about what the nature of God is when he reveals it in the past and its ramifications. So Muhammad gave all of these superlative titles, the 99 names, if you will, of God. He was basically claiming that God, his version of God, was perfect. But you see, he didn't have the benefit of hundreds, if not 2,000 years of serious minds who study philosophy and theology and the ramifications of theological concepts. So I'm not even done yet. But when I get done, you're still going to be in denial, because that's the nature of Islam and cults. Okay? Because even when, for example, when we dropped a bomb on Japan, okay? When we dropped a bomb on Japan, they still didn't surrender. Did you know that?
Yeah, it was after.
Right. Then we had to drop another one. And then after we dropped the second one, if they thought that's all we had, they wouldn't have surrendered. But they thought we had more, so they surrendered. Okay? Now, I'm dropping a philosophical, theological bomb on Islam, okay? A devastating one. In order for God to be perfect, he has to have all great making properties. Love is a great making property. To possess love as a characteristic before creation as an eternal characteristic of God, love has to be actualized, not just be a potentiality. You see, Muhammad didn't know this, okay? He just talked about, oh, Allah, he's wise and merciful. So Allah, Muslims say, well, God loved himself. Right. But that is not exemplifying and actualizing love to its fullest. Because to fully actualize love is not just to love yourself, but to be other-oriented. Okay? There's no one else to love. Now, here's another bomb for you. Okay? Allah is a persona, just like we're personas. Any entity that possesses a mind or an intellect or is an agent is a persona. Okay? Are we clear on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can call such an entity a person, right? Now, when I say person, I don't mean human. I mean an entity that possesses personality or personhood. Okay? Now,
Okay.
to be maximally personal includes the attribute or the characteristic of being relational. Okay? Now,
Okay.
in human terms, as an analogy, if a human being cannot be relational, if they have a deficit in their ability to actualize relationality, they are this is seen as a fault. It's seen as a deficit. There are people who, either through brain damage or impairment, cannot fully actualize relationality. Okay, and if it's not neurological but it's sociological in nature, we consider that to be a form of mental derangement. Okay, what would you agree with me that one thing among many things that are intrinsic to human beings is their relationality?
No, absolutely not. That's
Well,
Okay,
absurd.
would somebody mute Meta, please?
You
Thank
have
you.
the
Thank you. Now, so to be a person or a persona means that you have the characteristics that a persona has, okay? Which is you have a mind and intellect, you have a will, you have some kind of affect, and that also includes relationality, okay? Now, how did Allah possess personhood to its fullest, including the actualizing of relationality before creation? Did he
well, I
actualize
would
did he possess the characteristic within his personhood, the aspect of relationality, not as a potentiality, but as it being actualized before creation?
well, he wouldn't have to actualize it, you know,
You're
that's
not you're
the
not
greatness of
focusing.
God.
You're not focusing. See,
Yeah, but your question is
this is what
confusing.
we call shut
Simplify
up,
it.
please, or
No,
you're
no, you
muted or I'll
simplify
leave.
it. You went on
Okay,
a long rant.
I'm gonna turn you down. You're an idiot. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're a
Okay. I
moron.
have you turned down. I
Simplify it,
can't hear you,
okay?
midget. Okay.
For the
No,
first
Now
you
listen
idiot.
carefully.
Simplify
Okay.
it. You went on a long rant.
In Genesis,
Ranting
in
and
Genesis
ranting.
chapter 2, it
Simplify
states
it.
that after God made man, he made Adam. He said, "It is not good that Adam should be alone." Do you agree with that?
He only loved Adam.
No. After God made Adam in Genesis chapter 2, God said, "It is not good that man should be alone." And then he made another person, Eve. After God got done making Eve, at the end of going from chapter 2 back to chapter 1, after God made man and woman, Adam and Eve, God looked upon all that he had made and declared that it was good. So now, with the advent of another person, Adam was actualizing relationality as a person, as a persona. But before, when he didn't actualize relationality, okay, it was only a potentiality, but not an actualization. God said it's not, Adam was in a not good state. Okay? Relationality is a characteristic, okay, either a potentiality or an actualization of personhood. This is not something that you can dispute. Okay? Now, Muhammad
Anyone can
didn't
dispute anything.
understand these things
Anything can be disputed.
because he was bastardizing Christianity, taking the things that he liked and getting rid of the things that he didn't like. Okay? Now, when we look at the God of Christianity versus the God of Islam that Muhammad was making up, the God of Christianity actually not only he doesn't just possess the potentiality to love before creation. Love is actually actualized between the three co-equal distinctions or persons within the singular Godhead. Okay,
Oh
where each of
gosh.
those persons can love each
This
other
guy.
before
This guy.
creation. In
Why
addition,
can't you just be
you have
simple? Just
God, each of the
ranting. Just
persons of the
word
Trinity. Now
salad.
remember,
You could just be
the
simple.
Trinity are not three gods. It is one
KJV, you
God
do the same thing.
who subsists.
No,
I can't hear this
I'm
person. I have them
simple and
turned down,
direct. This
please.
guy's
Okay.
got word
So
salads.
the three persons of the Trinity that God has revealed from the Christian worldview, that he is one God, he is one being, but that within that unity, there's a diversity of
Aguru, let me help
intellectual
you.
distinctions
Ask him to
or
read
persons
Jeremiah chapter
within one
10,
being.
1
Not
to
three
5.
gods, three persons. Those three
Jeremiah 10,
persons
1 to
can
5.
actualize, or they
Ask him to
actualize
read that.
relationality and love before creation. A God that is Unitarian, meaning he is a single person within a single being, cannot actualize love, and he cannot actualize relationality as a main characteristic of being a persona.
Ask
But you
him
see,
what is
Muhammad didn't
Jeremiah
know this,
chapter
did
10,
he?
1 to 5.
Persona.
Okay. Yeah.
Jeremiah
Hey,
chapter
mods,
10,
I'm
1 to
telling you,
5.
I'm not
Ask him
going to
what
put
that
up
is.
with taunting trolls. I'll go somewhere else. I have plenty of other rooms where people want to
Ask him
talk
what
with
is
me.
Jeremiah chapter 10, 1
I
to
want to
5.
hear this, like, actually.
Okay. So,
Ask him
but you
to
see,
read
I
that
can
for
go
me.
down a
Going
laundry
on.
list. I can go down a laundry list of
You're
all
already
the
going down a
mistakes, the
laundry list
glaring mistakes that Muhammad made.
in a word
Okay,
salad.
that Muslims simply don't care about. Because if they start to look at these bullet points, this laundry list of all the serious mistakes that he made, okay, they just ignore it, okay, because then they have to say to themselves, wow, all these Muslims are wrong. Who wants
Of
to
course
believe
they are.
that? Okay. I mean, I
I
can
just
go
got
on
here
for
with
another
Origin
45
bloodline.
minutes if you
What is the
like.
biblical origin of the
Okay.
Muslim? Ask him about that. Does he know?
So
What was
do you
that?
The Muslims
understand
are in the
that
book of
Allah
Genesis all the way
is
to
not
Revelation.
love
Who are they?
in eternity? He
Ask him
cannot
who
be
they are.
love to its maximum. He cannot be fully personal because he can't actualize relationality. Okay?
You're limiting God's powers.
No, you're not understanding. You see, what
Yeah,
you're
you've been
doing right
ranting.
now, you see, when a devastating proof is given, typically what happens is people, it takes a while for it to sink in.
They go
Sometimes
through the 7
days,
stages of
weeks,
yes.
months. I don't expect I'm going to change your
sucks.
mind in 5 minutes. But the fact of the
Yes.
matter is, we have
Yes.
it's called
See me,
perfect
I'm
being
blunt
theology. If
and
Allah is
simple.
perfect,
He just goes to word
then he's
salad.
going to have all great making properties. But he doesn't have all great making properties. Okay?
Word
That's
salad.
because Muhammad didn't know what he was talking about. Okay? So Allah does not possess the characteristic of love to its fullest before creation. He doesn't possess the characteristic of being a fully personal being before creation. But you're not going to care about this because as far as you're concerned, oh no, Allah is the one true God and Muhammad is his prophet. But you see, the God of Christianity.
All right, what's your point,
okay,
though? Do you have a point?
He's just gonna be on
Yeah, I'm
word
not talking
salad
to you because you were
forever.
trolling before. So
Oh.
go kick rocks,
He's
little
just gonna
boy.
keep just going and going.
Okay. I mean, do you want me to go on
Salad.
showing you all the mistakes Muhammad made?
No one knows what the fuck you're
No, we
talking
don't
about.
want that. It's
Okay.
obvious.
Yeah, I'm
It's
gonna turn you
obvious.
down. Troll me one
Turn
more
me
time,
down.
Meta. I'll turn
It's
you down.
obvious,
Goodbye, little
Everyone's
boy.
been turned down. Yeah.
Okay.
We've got to sit here
So,
and
for
listen to
example,
his
there's
word
no
salad.
plan of salvation in Islam that will solve the conflict, the antithesis between God being completely just and God being merciful. Okay? Christianity solves this problem
What conflict are you fucking
by God
talking about?
incarnating himself in the person of Jesus Christ, the second person, dying on the cross, rising again from the dead, where God can both be completely just and merciful to those who repent and trust Jesus Christ as their Savior. Okay? So we have a solution to the problem between the antithesis between justice and mercy. There is no solution to this in Islam because Muhammad didn't understand these more sophisticated points of philosophy and theology.
If you
So
ever
there's
want to
no
know the
plan
truth
of
about
salvation.
Islam
Number
and
two, Allah
the
is
origins
also
of the
not perfect
Muslim,
again because he is
you can
not
talk to me.
always
I
a
can show you exactly who you are in the
truth-revealing
Bible.
creator. And in fact, throughout the Quran in the Arabic,
Ask
it
Jenny.
says Allah is the greatest of
After me, and I'll
deceivers.
show you
This is
everything you
so
need to know.
troubling to Arabic translators that they mistranslate it and say Allah is the greatest of all planners, when the actual Arabic word means to scheme, to deceive. And we have key examples of how Allah actually was deceiving. Okay? So for example, in Surah 8, he deceives Muhammad in a dream about the army that he's going to go battle up against, that they were much fewer in number, so Muhammad wouldn't be discouraged. But Muhammad finds out later on that the army was much larger than what God communicated to him in a dream. Okay? Here's another problem. Allah made it to appear that Jesus died on the cross, and it says, but Jesus did not die on the cross. He made it look, he made all the people there and the people in human history, with rare exceptions, to believe in the historicity of Jesus dying on the cross. This was Allah's doing. Okay? So Allah is not perfect. And Muhammad didn't understand perfect being theology. Okay? Here's another one. Allah is not omniscient. In Surah 4 and 5, okay, there are 3 key verses that I can read to you where it condemns directly and indirectly the Christian doctrine of the Trinity, because Muhammad was a rabid Unitarian and he thought the Trinitarian doctrine was polytheistic and not monotheistic. He misunderstood the doctrine of the Trinity to be polytheism and not Trinitarian monotheism. So in Surah 4 or 5, for example, it says, and when Allah will say to Jesus, did you tell the people to take you and your mother alongside me as gods? Okay, so what we have here is Allah is saying to, Allah is saying to Jesus, right, in this passage, did you teach the people to take 3 gods, meaning Allah, Jesus, and Mary? And Jesus' response is, no, I didn't do that. He goes, that was not for me to say. Then we go again in Surah 4 and 5 again. We have 2 other parallel passages where it attacks the doctrine of the Trinity. And again, guess who's mentioned again? Allah, Jesus, and Mary were being taken as gods by the Christians. Okay? Muhammad is not merely saying that the Christians were violating Tawheed, right? In that they were deifying Mary. What these passages are going after is what Muhammad thought was the Trinity. He thought the Trinity was Allah, Jesus, and Mary from the faulty perspective of the Christians. But no one in human history ever taught that the Christian doctrine of the Trinity was Allah, representing the Father, Jesus, and Mary. Muhammad made another historical blunder. All right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, sir, would you like to have an adult discussion on it? Hold on.
Yes.
I'll ask you one more time. I respect your ability to disagree. I don't have a problem with that. Do you want to have an adult conversation on it?
Absolutely.
That's not a conversation. You're preaching.
Listen, sir,
agree with that. It's
I'm
not a
talking.
conversation.
Okay,
It's preach.
you're right. I'm explaining to this Muslim why Muhammad made numerous blunders. Now, Roy, do you want to have a conversation on the issue of religion and God?
No, go ahead. No, I just came in. Just go ahead. Keep.
Okay, I mean, if you just want to troll, I'll ignore you. But if you want to make, hey, listen, can you not over talk me? All right, you tell me when you're done being rude. Yeah, you can unmute him now.
I know you're gathering your flock.
Hey, listen, if you just want to be a sarcastic asshole, go ahead. I don't care. Then I'll ignore you. If you want to have a conversation with me where you set me straight, where you think I'm wrong, I will listen to you.
Oh,
but you're going to, hey, listen, let me finish.
Oh,
Let me
shit,
finish.
stop talking,
Hey,
boy.
listen, over talk me again, and I will stop responding to you.
Yeah,
Okay?
see, there's the conversation. Let me talk. Let me finish. Real nice conversation, pal.
Okay? Yeah, listen,
Shit,
you
stop talking.
guys control all you want. It has no effect upon me other than to point out to the moderators, mute them, or I'll go somewhere else. I don't care. Okay? Now, Roy, do you want to have, hey, Roy, last chance, okay? Last chance, Roy. Do you want to have a mature adult interaction where we can talk and we can respectfully disagree? Do you want to do that?
Listen, we can be dumb goy and listen to you. Listen to your bullshit.
Okay. Have a nice day. You can mute him. Yeah. You see, if he actually had confidence in his own intellect, okay, he wouldn't be trash talking like this. but he knows he's not talented in this area. I happen to know that I have talent in this area. Okay. You see, being contemptuous of somebody else's position, being nasty and sarcastic, doesn't mean that what you're being sarcastic to is false. Okay.
What the? Stop it. Who's this?
So the bottom line is, I've shown
was
you
sweet.
a short laundry list of all of the blunders that Muhammad made. But Muslims don't care. They simply do not care.
What's the ban, Roy?
I don't know, man. I get muted all the time. This
Yeah,
guy
one
wanted to
simple
preach-
question,
This
Roy.
guy
One
wanted
simple
to
question.
preach
Have you
about
been
this
drinking
fucking
tonight,
Jew
Roy?
God or whatever.
What's the ban, Roy?
I don't listen. This dude's on a mission from a Jew God. He won't shut up about it. He won't let anyone else talk.
Yeah, I'll bet you anything he's a drunk.
Did anybody else catch that where he was showing his genitals on the camera? That Lloyd's
Yeah, I
altar?
don't know. I'm about to move down one server though. This is trash.
Yes,
Right.
I'm a drunk.
I'm gonna go elsewhere.
You ever read this book? You ever
I
read this book?
don't blame you, Darth. Do not.
What's the book? The myth of what?
Sisyphus.
Sisyphus.
He's the guy who rolled the rock up the hill.
Okay,
for
listen.
everyone.
I'm not a hard-headed guy. Do you want to have an adult
book?
conversation?
You ever read this book?
Yeah.
Hey,
I like
listen.
so.
Roy, do you want to have a conversation with me or not?
You ever read this book?
No.
Are you flexing the books you've read? No.
Dude,
All
no,
right.
I'm making a point. This
All right,
dude is hung up
he's
on some
drunk.
dumb bullshit
Listen. I'm gonna go down to another
with-
room. I'm not gonna
with the
deal with this
fuck
drunk.
down.
I'll go down to
He's-
civil.
He's wearing sunglasses.
Wait, what?
Another
are there no
drunk, intoxicated adult.
knives?
Yeah, you can't talk to those people, Darth. I mean, you could tell that they were all just a bunch of.
Well, it's
adolescents.
clear. Look, either it's clear that he's drunk, or he has some type of psychopathy. Okay, which is another psychobabble way of saying that he's very sinful.
Well, it's not just him; it's the others as well. Every time I've come
Well,
into this server, they all act the same.
let me
way.
just say this: one or more of the moderators were doing a fairly decent job of muting the disruptive people today since I've been here. So it's been bad before, but they were moderating because they wanted to hear what I had to say. You
That's
see,
good.
this is typically the mindset of skeptics and atheists. They think that if they spew sarcasm and nastiness, that it's substantive. It's not. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have any problem with insults and sarcasm as long as it's the icing on the cake. They have no cake. All they got is the icing of sarcasm. There's no substance there.
And they even resort to violence. Did you hear about that professor at a university where?
Oh yeah. Oh, of course.
The
Look at the
pro-lifers at
French
table.
Revolution. Look at the French Revolution. How the American Revolution was relatively bloodless, with the exception, of just soldiers, killing each other. But in the French Revolution, they were killing people left and right. If you just disagree with them politically, they cut your head off. And the reason why is that the American Revolution was God-centered. The Declaration of Independence said that the king was violating his God-given duties. But in the French Revolution, it was atheistic. Okay? And so what do? You just kill your political enemies.
Yeah, and the only thing is, I wish that the United States from the beginning would have had it like a Christian nationalist type of society instead of embracing, allowing atheists and Muslims.
No,
and
but you
of other
see,
faiths.
they couldn't have foreseen. First of all, there were virtually hardly any atheists. They were extremely rare. Okay. The idea that somebody wouldn't believe in God was unthinkable to the founding fathers. Now, there's a variety of views about God to the founding fathers. They typically can be divided in 3 types of groups, and there's actually a book that talks about the religious views of the founding fathers, okay? They were not predominantly deists, as people would have you believe. There were some deists, but most of them were not. But the founding fathers were very God-focused. Even though I might criticize them from a biblical perspective, they were still God-focused. That's why they said, we are endowed with certain inalienable rights by our Creator, okay?
I keep
So
hearing
that's
Discord
the
notifications.
difference,
Is that from your
right?
mic, Mr. Marquez?
This is why when you listen to atheists and unbelievers attack the notion of God, it's almost always cliches, slogans, non sequiturs that don't follow, right? What's that? This is why atheists who are familiar with me, they don't want to talk with me like an adult, because they're going to get their atheism destroyed. That's why many atheists just engage in trolling tactics, because they really believed in the intellectual superiority of their skepticism and unbelief. There wouldn't be any need for sarcasm until the end.